Welcome. Today, I want you to throw your plan out the frickin' window in terms of how much you're supposed to eat, what you're supposed to eat, when you're supposed to eat, what your portions are supposed to look like. Throw that out. Throw that plan out the frickin' window. The reason that you are impulsive with food is because you are following some type of rigid plan. Now, every single person's plan is going to look different. Whether you have tracked calories and macros in the past, maybe you are still tracking your food right now, or maybe you're not actually tracking, but you're mentally tracking. I was on a coaching call with one of my clients today, and she was mentally tracking, okay, well, if I have the yogurt bowl, it's this many calories. If I have this bagel, it's probably this many calories. So you're either maybe tracking your food, maybe you're mentally tracking it, maybe you're not tracking your food at all, but you're still telling yourself, I need to eat every 3 hours, or I need to get a gram of protein per body weight every single day. I was talking to another one of my clients who was like, I've been told if I want to build lean muscle, I need a gram of protein per pound of body weight. And like whatever it is, whatever plan you're following, don't eat after 7 o'clock. You know, if you have a really big lunch, well then skip your snack. Have protein and vegetables at every meal. Whatever plan you are following, it is the reason that you are impulsive with food, period. I often see this. It's like, I don't trust myself to know how much I should be eating, so I have to follow some type of plan, or else, Lorna, I'm going to be out of control. No. The reason you're out of control is because you're following the plan. But I don't know my hunger and fullness cues. Like, they're so out of whack. So I have to tell myself what I'm going to eat. No. The reason your hunger and fullness cues are out of whack is because you're not listening to them. You're hungry, but you're like, oh, but it's not time to eat yet. So then you dismiss it. And then, of course, your hunger and fullness cues become even more out of whack because you're just not simply listening to it. Or you know that you're full, and your body says, keep on eating, and then you listen to that, and then you continue eating past fullness, and then, of course, your hunger and fullness cues are out of whack because you're not actually stopping when you're comfortably full. You're continuing to eat past fullness, and then that creates a habit in the brain. You have to let go of when you're supposed to eat, what you're supposed to eat, what portions look like, because that is causing you to try to be so perfect. And when you can't stick to that, that's when you get into the F it mentality. You think that you're doing something wrong. I often see this with this idea when it comes to sweets, like, I can only have one cookie. There's nothing magical about one cookie, but you believe in your mind you can only have a cookie, one cookie. So the moment you want a second cookie, you feel like I messed up, I failed the plan, and so I might as well finish the entire row of cookies because I already messed up. I didn't stick to the plan. But you could have prevented that by disregarding this plan that you've made up in your head that you can only have one cookie. Hi, Emma. So good to have you here. If you told yourself, I can't snack at night. You know what? I used to do this. I used to tell myself, I'm going to come home from work and I'm going to make it myself a cup of tea, and that's it. That's it. You can only have a cup of tea. That is not listening to your body. I swear to God, I would come home and I'd say, F the plan, and I would go on the complete other side of the spectrum because you don't like being told what to do. When you tell yourself you can't snack at night, you're going to want to snack at night. I remember there was a point when I was doing intermittent fasting because the evenings are always a challenge for me. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do this intermittent fasting thing because if I just tell myself you can't eat after dinner, well, then you're just going to stop snacking at night. As if like you could just snap your fingers and it was that easy. And there was one night I was sitting on the couch with my husband, or boyfriend at the time. And he was eating these coconut clusters. It was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 o'clock at night. He was eating these coconut clusters. And oh my goodness, if you've ever had coconut clusters, they're so good. Okay. They're my jam. And he was sitting on the couch eating these coconut clusters. And all I could think about was food. All I wanted to do was grab the bag and just go to frickin' town. Why? Because I told myself you can't eat after dinner. When you tell yourself you can't do something, you want to do it even more. And so I started feeling more impulsive. You are more impulsive with food. You are more impulsive with food because you were setting these unrealistic rules for yourself. You're trying to follow these plans. I would recommend listening to the Ditch Decade Diets podcast for the person that made that comment. You can start there. So when you tell yourself you can only have one cookie, you're going to go balls to the wall and you're going to have a lot more. When you tell yourself don't eat after 7 o'clock, you're going to binge. I'm going to put the podcast name there in the comments. It's Ditch Decade Diets Podcast. Lizelle. So this is the problem with these plans. You have this idea inside of your mind of what you believe is right. But who said that that was right? Even, intermittent fasting, I kept on putting intermittent fasting on a pedestal. Like, I have to do this, as if that was the thing. I felt like a zombie and I was binging more. So it was not for me. But I was blaming myself. Why can't you stick to it? What's wrong with you? And every single time that I would binge in the evenings, I would promise myself, okay, tomorrow we have to do better. Okay, just go home, just have a cup of tea. That's the plan. Throw the plan out the freaking window. Throw it out. Get rid of it. It's causing you to become more impulsive with food. If you were to just tell yourself, like, it's not, you're going to have a snack or you're not going to have a snack. You just wait until the evening comes to then check in with yourself. That's the most effective way. If right now you're telling yourself, don't have a snack in the evening, that's not intuitive eating. You don't know how you're going to feel until the evening comes. If you tell yourself, okay, when you go out for dinner tonight, you're not going to get dessert. But how do you know? How do you know if you're going to want dessert or not? You have to check in with yourself. And here's the thing. This is the crazy part. And I'll answer the questions in the chat box in a second. If you're live here and you have something, you can drop it in the chat box and I'll get to it. So if you tell yourself, like, tonight you can either have a snack or you don't have to, like, just depending on how you feel, okay? There will be times you genuinely don't want a snack. But when you tell yourself you can't, I guarantee every single night you will have one. That's just what happens. We don't like being told what to do. So if you were to tell yourself you can't have a snack in the evening, you're going to have a snack almost every single night. But if you tell yourself you have the ability to, if you want to, there will be some nights you're like, I'm satisfied from dinner. I'm good. Because you're actually just telling yourself like you could if you want. I generally need to lose weight. Can I recover while simultaneously losing? So I will say this, okay? I have felt the best in my own skin when I stopped binge eating. People have this belief, I can't lose weight if I'm healing my relationship with food. Well, binge eating is not going to help you lose weight. Overeating is not going to help you lose weight. Obsessing over calories and then binging like crazy is not going to help you lose weight. Consuming so many calories at once is not going to support your metabolism. So most people think I can't lose weight when I'm healing my relationship with food because people focus on food freedom. Eat whatever you want. Well, yeah, you're not going to lose weight. I don't ever tell my clients to focus on food freedom. I don't think it's healthy to just eat whatever you want. That's not a healthy relationship with food. That's eat whatever the heck and bob you want. So you still have to pull on gentle nutrition. If there are certain foods that don't make you feel well, you got to be mindful of them. You don't need 5 cookies, right? And so people have this misconception of even what healing your relationship with food actually looks like. It's not eat whatever you want. Intuitive eating is you are being in tune with your body. You're checking in with how certain foods make you feel. I'm comfortable taking time to heal my relationship with food, but medical issues say act now. Well, Lizzie, is that your name, Lizzie? Am I saying it correctly? If you were to take action right now and get support for your binge eating, the weight would come off because just think about it, right? And you can't focus on the weight. But if you didn't overeat every single week, if you didn't binge every single week, right? It's like we just have to also see the facts. It's like if I start taking care of myself and I focus on self-love and I focus on eating in a way that makes my body feel really good. I'm not doing food freedom. I'm not eating whatever the heck I want, but I'm also learning brain-based tools to help me stop overeating and stop binge eating. I'm going to feel so much better in my own skin. I'm going to get healthier. I'm going to have less stress. When you're stressing over, I need to lose weight, that's also not healthy either. Stress is the worst thing. If you stress over, oh my gosh, I need to eat this and I gotta eat in this way and I need to eat so perfectly, that's not supportive of your health. How did you get your cycle back? I healed my relationship with food. I stopped over exercising like crazy. I stopped tracking my food. I deleted my FitnessPal. I stopped spending hours in the gym. And it's so funny. It's like I got in the best shape of my life when I stopped doing those rigid things. People think it's the opposite. If I stop tracking, I'm going to gain a bunch of weight. Well, if you stop tracking and just eat whatever you want, yes, but that's not a healthy relationship with food. Okay, is there any other questions? You can drop it in the. Did you gain the weight back? No. Because here's the thing. When you eat intuitively, and you have complete freedom of choice, you have a healthy relationship with food, you don't eat whatever you want. When you are tracking calories and macros, you're following these rigid plans, you lose the weight and it always comes back on. When you go a quick fix route, you'll lose the weight, it will always come back on. So I said, F that, we're not doing that. So I got here to this place and I support my clients with having a better relationship with food, not in a quick fix way, but rather actually getting to the root of your binge eating, rewiring your brain. And so when you actually do things sustainably, you don't revert back to old habits. You develop habits like movement. It's like movement out of self-love, these beautiful habits out of self-love, and you keep on doing that, and it's sustainable. When what you're doing is unrealistic, of course the weight is going to come back on. If you have insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction, is it possible your natural hunger cues are too much for your body? I don't feel like I binge, but I eat a small too much every meal for 20 years. So anybody can get their hunger and fullness cues back. But the problem is most people will dismiss their hunger. So their body will say, I'm hungry. And most people will push it off. That dysregulates your hunger and fullness cues. Most people will eat, even if it's just a little bit too much past fullness, that creates a habit. And so now you're eating always past fullness that you don't even know what true fullness actually feels like. And this is where you have to sit in the discomfort to say, I am comfortably full right now. I have to stop. If I keep on eating, I'm creating this habit of overeating in my brain. And now it's confusing of when I'm hungry, when I'm full, because also when you're eating past fullness all the time, then it's hard to know when you're hungry next. Because you're way too overly full. And so it's like, when do I eat next? So eating when you're hungry, absolutely, but also breaking the cycle of eating past fullness and saying to yourself, I am comfortably full. I have to stop now. Because when you stop when you're comfortably full, you break that habit of overeating. If you continue to overeat, your body's hunger and fullness cues are completely out of whack because then you're so full, you don't know when the next time you should eat, but you're like, I haven't eaten in so long, so I probably should have something, but you're not even hungry, and the cycle repeats itself. So how to start eating intuitively. Well, it's really what I'm talking about right now. It's releasing the plan of what you've been told. Whether you had a nutritionist, you were on a meal plan, you were tracking your macros, you've been told, eat every 2 hours, or, make sure to have a protein, a carb, a vegetable, whatever you've been told. It's like you have to throw that out the window and start saying to yourself, what do I feel like eating right now? And yes, pull on gentle nutrition. It's like, okay, well, I probably should have some vegetables and I probably should have some protein, right? Because it's like, that will sustain my energy. I'll feel fuller longer. I want to have energy for my workouts. I want to have good sleep, but it's letting go of the rules of like, you have to eat at a certain time, or you're mentally calculating, okay, well, if I have this and it's that many calories or that many grams of protein, like you have to start letting go of those rules and start to build up trust. And so letting go of the plan, letting go of what you've been told, and start really tuning in what sounds good right now. Not what do I think I should be eating, not is what's my friend eating, what's my husband eating, oh, my husband is eating this, maybe I should eat that, or he's not eating a snack, so maybe I shouldn't have a snack. It's like, what do you actually want? What actually sounds good? And when it comes to the root of binge eating, it is different for everybody, but the majority of times it's due to two main reasons. Number one, restriction, and two, a habit. So whatever rules you've been following in the past, you've created these rigid rules for yourself. You started feeling restricted. You started feeling deprived. You don't have the chocolate, don't eat after a certain time, only 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, whatever it is. Those rules left you feeling deprived and creating these urges. And so every single time you feel an urge and you give in, you develop this habit, right? So those are really the two main things. It's like restriction and habit are really the root causes for a lot of binge eating episodes. I was talking to a client today on a coaching call, and she's not really binging anymore. She's been inside of my Root and Rewire membership, and she's not binging anymore, but she's like, I'm overeating. And we talked through it. She's not tracking her food, but she's mentally tracking. So he said, we have to let that go. She's mentally looking at her portions of being like, oh, that's too much, or this is too little. I said, we have to let that go. And then she's continuing to eat past fullness. She's doing overeating. And I said, well, we have to stop when we're comfortably full, because again, we have to break that habit. Okay, let's see what else there is. I binge on a half a bag of granola and fed. Would you mind? You are so welcome. Would you mind describing what an episode looks like of binge eating? Well, binge eating, again, it is this surge of energy. It's this rush of anxiety. It feels like it's not even you. So it feels like you almost like enter like this dark tunnel, and or like somebody has a remote control and is kind of dictating your behaviors. You're like, I'm full, but it feels like you can't stop. It feels like you can't stop. So it's like one cookie turns into 2, 3, 4, something sweet, then salty, sweet, and then salty. Then you go into the pantry, then you go into the fridge, and then you go, and it just feels like you can't stop eating. So it's just like this rush of anxiety. Someone else is controlling how much you're eating, even when you know you're so full. It's like you literally cannot stop. You just feel very impulsive. Very, very, very impulsive. For me, my binge eating episodes, it was like I'd be home alone, eating, standing up. Like I would have a cereal box. What I think it was Special K with like the dried strawberries and the Special K. I didn't really like the dried strawberries or whatever those were. But I would literally have dried cereal straight from the box, like handfuls, a package of mangoes in one sitting. I would have chocolate chip banana bread, like the whole freaking loaf. That's binge eating. Both, Danielle. Were they ever planned or impulsively out of nowhere? Both. So sometimes they would be planned, like, well, I know no one's going to be home, so I'm going to binge tonight, let's go. I'd be planning it, right? 100%. But sometimes it's just like, I just felt an urge and I was like, well, we're just going to town. Like, you sometimes you can't dictate when an urge is going to come up. I'd be at work and I would come home and I'm like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to just eat the whole pantry. So I did plan them for sure. If I knew, like I said, I was going to be home alone, or I would like go to the grocery store and like buy all these things, and I would come home and, eat them like protein bars. I'd eat like 4 or 5 protein bars in a sitting. And then sometimes it was just spontaneously, completely out of nowhere. I binge on peanut butter so many times. When I buy it, it feels like I'm setting myself up. Well, the thing is, to take that food off of a pedestal, you actually have to allow yourself to have it. So this is what happens. You go, you buy peanut butter, you overdo it because you haven't built up that trust yet. You haven't taken that food off of a pedestal. And so then you think to yourself, I can't have peanut butter. So what you do is you avoid the peanut butter. You avoid the peanut butter because you're like, I can't have the peanut butter. And then you feel deprived, you feel restricted, all you can think about is the peanut butter, and then you haven't had peanut butter in so long, you go to the store and you end up binging on it because you're so deprived, versus building up trust, allowing yourself to have it with your oatmeal. Not just when you're in an impulsive state. That's another thing. That's another thing. Marie, hold on. Marie just said, I forgot I was following you. That's how good I've been. Thanks for being so kind about this. Okay, Marie, what the heck? We're just celebrating you. Like, this is amazing. I'm so proud of you. This is amazing. I forgot how good I've been. Like, this is what happens, you guys, when you heal your relationship with food. You're like, oh, I even forgot I struggled with food. Like, so good. So good. And you keep it consistent. Well, it's actually hilarious because I have a newborn right now, and most people take like maternity leave or whatever. I'm like, yeah, no, we ain't doing that. Okay, back to the peanut butter story. So when you tell yourself, okay, I've had the peanut butter and I binged on it, so let me not buy it, you're always going to binge on it because you haven't built that trust. Versus if you have it with your oatmeal, you have it at least triggering times. Most people will have peanut butter or a trigger food when you're already triggered at night, when you always binge, when you're already starving, when you're home alone. Well, those are already times that you are triggered. So if you're eating triggering foods in a time that you are already in a triggered state, that's going to set you up to binge. Versus when you're with people, you add your peanut butter to your oatmeal. Instead of nobody's home, you're standing up, eating straight from the jar. Of course, you're going to do it. You're going to overeat or you're going to binge on it. For me, it was almond butter. And so I used to binge on almond butter because I used to tell myself 1 tablespoon. What? 1 tablespoon is literally nothing. It would not spread on top of my 2 pieces of toast. So I would always end up overdoing it. Forget the freaking rules. Let them go. Goodbye. Adios, amigos. Goodbye. When I just allowed myself to have more than 1 tablespoon, I stopped binging on almond butter. And there was actually a point in time where I was sick of almond butter. I could not have it for a few months because that food got taken off of a pedestal. It wasn't special anymore. It was like, you can have more than a tablespoon. You're going to be okay. So again, you have to rewire your brain. You have to rewire your brain to feel safe eating these foods, to take these foods off of a pedestal. You have to rewire your brain to shift your relationship with these foods, to let go of the plan, to build up self-trust. And by the way, if you have not yet joined my program, the Root and Rewire membership, this is where I walk you through the entire Root and Rewire process, how to get to the root of your binge eating and how to rewire your brain so you can finally eat without feeling that urge or that impulse. If you are thinking about food 24/7, if you are having anxiety when you're going to social events, if this is all you're thinking about, it's impacting your relationships, you can't sleep well, maybe it's impacting your intimate life, you're literally eating breakfast, you're thinking about dinner, did I eat enough? Should I have another slice of pizza? You're overthinking your food choices. You got to be inside of this because your life should not be revolved around food. You should be in the driver's seat, not your urges. You should be in the driver's seat, not food. And so this is a 6 or 12 month program. The reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because I'm only doing one final round of live coaching with me inside of the membership. And then doors are closing on Friday and I won't be running this program again. So if you've ever wanted coaching from me, this is the time to join. I've posted so many times about rewiring your brain. You got to rewire your brain. You got to eliminate your urges. You got to get back in tune with your hunger and fullness cues. Healing your relationship with food is not one thing. There's an accumulation of different things. We talked about not eating past fullness, breaking that habit. We talked about, taking certain foods off a pedestal. We talked about letting the plans go. All of this you have to learn how to do, how to actually know how to stop when you're full and actually stop when you're full. Not just, I know I'm full and continue to eat. You have to know how to stop giving into your urges. You have to learn how to eat like a normal person who doesn't have to rely on these rules of when to eat, what to eat, but rather trust yourself and your intuition to know how much to eat without following any plan. That's freedom. That's freedom. So you can go to the restaurant and actually be present with your husband versus thinking, oh my God, did I make the right decision? Without, sitting down watching a movie and all you can think about is wanting the cookie in your pantry. So if you have been wanting coaching with me, if you have been restricting, binging, following some type of plans, your hunger and fullness cues are out of whack. You're thinking about food 24/7. That binge eating is impacting your relationships, maybe your marriage, your mood. Your body image is also impacting your mood, whether you look good, you feel good, whether you don't feel like you look good because you saw yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, I look horrible. Then your day's gone to shit. If you eat perfectly, you have the best day. If you feel like you ruined your day, you had the worst day. If how you're eating is impacting your mood, you have to work through this. You have to heal your relationship with food and rewire your brain. So I'm running one final round. And yes, somebody said binge eating is a habit. Can that habit be replaced? Absolutely. That's what I teach you inside of the Root and Rewire membership. Absolutely. This is exactly how to rewire your brain out of these habitual cycles of binge eating, overeating, emotional eating, mindless snacking, boredom eating. Everything is all a habit. The more times you do something, the more times you come home at night and you eat to comfort yourself, that's a habit that needs to be rewired. Every time you're at the restaurant and you say, but the food is so good and you eat past fullness, that's a habit that needs to be rewired. And so I teach you how to do that inside of the membership. And like I said, if you guys are interested in joining us for the final round, there's a few more spots left and you can message me membership and I will share the details with you. I'm so glad it's been helpful for you. Yuki. I don't know if that's your name, but I just see your username here. All right, badasses. I went so long without binging and relapsed. Got any tips? Okay, well, what did you do what did you do within that period of time that you weren't binging? Because I was talking to a client the other day, and before she came to work with me, she said, Lorna, I used to go months without binging. And then I reverted back to old habits. And I said, well, what did you do? What did you do in that period where you weren't binging? And she was like, honestly, I don't really know. I think I just kind of got lucky. I think I was just kind of really motivated. Well, that's not a predictable solution. You can't continue that for the rest of your life. So you actually have to do things sustainably, you guys. Like, forget the freaking quick fixes. You got to regulate your nervous system. You got to actually do the work to heal your relationship with food. Shift the way you're seeing food. You have to actually get back in tune with your hunger and fullness cues. You have to learn how to, I was always busy, right? And that's the thing. It's like when clients come to me and they're like, well, I didn't have time to binge. I'm like, well, of course you didn't binge. But now you have all this freed up time and you're like, I don't know how to sit with myself. I don't know how to feel my emotions. What do you mean? I was so busy. I didn't even have to think about feeling my emotions. Right? And so you have to actually learn how to process your emotions, because it doesn't matter what life throws your way. Whether you get pregnant, you're traveling, it's the holidays, you should be able to be confident that you're not going to revert back to old habits. But the only way that you get there is when you actually do the work to heal your relationship with food, so that nothing triggers you. Like, you can go on vacation and you know how to stop when you're full because you've reconnected to your hunger and fullness cues. You didn't just get lucky because you were so busy at work. I have anxiety. It makes me hungry. I don't want to get medicated. Breath work. Breath work, 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 period. Breath work. I do this with my clients every single month. It helps to regulate your nervous system. It helps you become less impulsive with food, but it also helps to reduce your stress and anxiety. Gets you out of your mind and into your body. And that's actually a bonus. When you join the membership before Friday, you actually get monthly breathwork sessions with me. It's the fastest way to become less impulsive. Not even just with food, like in your emotions, to be less snappy with your family members. And then you reduce your stress, your anxiety. You regulate your nervous system so you're more calm and grounded throughout the day. The membership starts at $97 per month, which is crazy. So if you want to get inside, you can message me. There's a 6-month option or a 12-month option. So you can message me before Friday, because Friday the doors are closing and I'm only doing one final round. So if you feel called, you can message me membership and I'll send you more of the details. So what does it entail? Okay, so the Root and Rewire membership teaches you you learn my entire root and rewire process, how to get to the root of your binge eating and how to rewire your brain so you no longer feel an urge to binge. There's trainings that you're able to watch. And you guys, this is everything. All the foundational tools of how to improve your relationship with food, how to be able to know the difference between cravings and urges so you know when to give in, when to say no. How to eat what you're craving, but say no to your urges. How to be able to enjoy whatever foods you want without feeling guilty. How to stop feeling like you have to try to eat so perfectly, and if you don't eat perfectly, then you get into the F it mentality. So how to get out of the all or nothing mentality. How to reconnect with your hunger and fullness cue so it's easy for you to stop eating when you're full. How to quiet the food noise in your mind, literally everything, okay? Then every single month, you get coaching with me. This is where you come up on Zoom. This is where I can personally coach you through whatever it is that you're going through. Whether it's nighttime eating, you're like, Lorna, I can eat super healthy all day, but at night, I just always comfort myself. Or stress is a trigger to binge. Or every time I'm bloated, that's a trigger for me to binge. We can work through that. Then you're also part of our incredible badass community. This is worth the entire membership. Having other people that get you is everything. I was talking to a client who just joined the membership and she's like, my partner doesn't get me. Like nobody gets me. I've done therapy, nutritionist, my partner doesn't get me. But when you're around other people who actually get you, you finally, number one, feel less alone, but also these women lift you up. You're going to be so much more, I hate the word motivated, but motivated to not give in to your urges, to be able to, go to the restaurant and eat what you're craving and order it because, Overeaters Anonymous didn't work for me. That was what someone said. Well, Overeaters Anonymous, I've never been, but you're literally saying I'm an overeater. There's nothing worse than ingraining this identity that's not even who you are. You're not an overeater. Overeating is a behavior that you engage in, but you are not an overeater. And this is another thing. I was talking to a client and I just interviewed her. She graduated from the membership. And yes, I'm aware about their process. And she was like, honestly, I started binging more when I considered myself a binge eater. Like, labels are so toxic. Even just labeling yourself as like, I do keto, for example, then you feel like you did something wrong if, God forbid, you have carbs. Like, it's so toxic to label yourself. So anyways, you have the badass community, and then every single month as well too, there's either a new training or a masterclass or a challenge that is designed to help you become less impulsive with food. So if you're thinking about food 24/7, if you've spent years restricting your food is on your mind 24/7. If you have been binging, overeating, if you have anxiety around food, if you're following these rigid plans and you're just like, I want to freaking eat like a normal person, you got to jump inside the membership. It's all the foundational tools. I put everything in one membership. It's 6 or 12 months. So you don't have to look in all different places. You get the tools, you get the coaching, you get the badass community, all in one program. And I'm all about sustainability. So if anyone listening to this is like, I'm wanting a quick fix, don't join. If you want to be binge free for the rest of your life, if you don't want to just have a few binge free months here and there, but then something stressful happens or you go on vacation and you revert back to old habits, that's not this. I want to help you get to a point so it doesn't matter if it's the holidays, you're going to back-to-back social events, you're on vacation, something stressful happened in your personal life, you have the tools to be able to navigate every single situation. But most importantly, you don't have an urge to overeat or mindlessly snack or say F it and just have a bunch of cookies because you've rewired your brain and you don't have any urges anymore. So just message me membership if you're interested and we'll be able to chat through that. There is a paid in full bonus as well too. Before Friday, you do get some private coaching with me. There's, I think, maybe one or two spots left. Someone just snagged it yesterday. So just message me before Friday and we'll get you inside. So thank you guys so much for being here. I cannot wait to run one final round before the doors close. This is going to be really special. All of the tools that I'm sharing with you guys today has helped hundreds of clients from around the world, Germany, Australia, Italy, the UK, so many clients from around the world. I get messages all the time like, I can't get help where I live, or nobody gets me. So I wanted to create this and have it be available for everybody because everybody deserves support from all around the world. And you're going to feel so seen for the first time in your life. You're going to recognize that you're not alone. And that is really special. So thank you guys for being here. Have a beautiful rest of your day, you guys. And we'll see you guys soon.